Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, your medium on the go. And this is not a really happy one tonight, and it is about the Texas floods. A very sad F-A-F-O, which everybody knows what that means now, but I don't say it in the spirit of ha ha ha, I told you so, although I guess there is an element of that, but it's on a very serious note, and not without some kind of compassion because of what people in Texas voted. They voted for them not to be warned about an oncoming flood, and some innocent children have paid the price. Now, just before I came on the air, and it is now 8:52 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday, the 8th of July, and you'll probably be seeing this sometime in the AM of Wednesday, the 9th. The card that I chose, and it was really easy because we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. And from the very beginning, with my early tarot teacher, Rebecca Bloom in Pittsburgh, I remember her telling us that the Ace of Cups in reverse in reading on natural phenomena is about floods and tsunamis. And upright, this is a very joyous place that comes from sort of a divine place too, and of love. In reverse, this is a lot of sadness. It's a flood of tears, actually. So as of this time, at this time that I just told you, now it's 8:53, the death toll I just checked was 111. I'm sure it's higher than that, and I'm sad to say it will probably be considerably higher as more bodies are found as the waters subside, which I hope they do. And if you saw my July forecast, and I'm going to leave a link in the description, I said this was going to be a month of a lot of floods, a lot of natural disasters, but floods. And we're not even at hurricane season yet. That is what I really dread. So the awful thing is that while the National Guard is terrorizing people in MacArthur Park in LA, they actually should be in Texas helping with this rescue and recovery mission. So that really shows you where this regime is. Then we have Cancun Ted, who has been in Greece and claimed he came back right away, but there is evidence to the contrary that he did not. So we have a lot of brown people from over the border who have been helping with the rescue and recovery mission, and Presidente Scheinbaum in Mexico has sent help. No questions asked. Now, do you think that El Presidente Schmucko over here would send if the situation was reversed and the Rio Grande just, overflowed into some Mexican town and a lot of people were lost? Do you think he'd lift a finger? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. I can't help but to think that actually it was Labor Day weekend, and the way the summers are going, it seems like that'll probably be here before we know it. Labor Day weekend, or maybe it was a little bit before, but it went into Labor Day weekend. We had Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and Bush was a hell of a lot more prepared than this bozo is. But in fact, he really wasn't in the head. Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. Brownie was just so incompetent that there were unnecessary deaths in that disaster. And it was very painful to see people in trouble on the news saying, I don't want to die this way. And all, I mean, it was just awful, but it really hurt his administration. Another hit that I have had is that this isn't even hurricane. Well, I said that hurricane season would begin early, and which means we'll be, I think, probably seeing some this month because that was in my July forecast. What are they going to do when the hurricanes hit? They're not going to be able to open up Alligator Alcatraz, and that could be for another reading. And as I've said before, it's not that he gives a shit about the people locked up in there, but maybe not wanting to send our troops and, you know, white people that'll be guarding them and putting them at risk. I'm sure that's all he's going to think of. And it will just not be, I mean, if all that crap, that prefab crap washes away, they'll have nowhere to put these people. So I have a feeling that if it even opens, it's not going to be open for very long. And I'm sure Amnesty International is going to be butting in on that. But at any rate, I'm going to make sure I've said everything that I want to. Yes, so this is truly an Ace of Cups in reverse. It's an Ace of Cups in that this is the natural phenomena of it, and it is also on the emotional level. If you've been hearing some of these people that I've been seeing on the videos, the news videos, I mean, they're really desperate, and it really comes down to, you know, I wouldn't wish this on anyone, but I have to say, think before you vote, people. He said he was cutting all of these things back, and then he brings in that ketamine crazy man, junkie, with his, literally with a chainsaw. It's like, is owning the libs, you know, really, is that worth it? How is that working out for you? So I do want to do a reading on seeing what it does to old taco tatas, and you know what's going to be happening from here. People say, "Oh, don't make this political." Well, it's the politics. It is the politics that made this mess in the first place. I mean, I remember over the years, who would have thought that there would be dangers of tornadoes in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, but one went tearing through Pittsburgh in 1998. I came in to visit from the West Coast, and I could not believe someone was telling me that, but that's climate change for you. But the thing is that, you know, you get this horrendous sounding noise on your phone that you can't not ignore. And especially for tornadoes, when people have, I mean, I remember a couple of years ago getting one of those for a tornado, only to find out that that passed and it went in another direction. I didn't have to go to the basement, but still, it might be nice to be warned about some of these things, but they say that's not on the agenda. Well, they're lying about that now. So we're going to see, and then I'm going to see if this is going to turn a Texas purple. If it doesn't come up in the general reading, I'll do a short one about that, and maybe anything else that comes up during this reading. So we're going to get started now. Okay, so alrighty, I've been shuffling as I've spoken. Okay, so the general energy is it's the Page of Pentacles, which makes you wonder in this big, horrendous bill that he signed into law over the 4th of July, how much they're going, they're going to have to deal with these disastrous areas, and this is talking about rethinking, and and this young energy is looking at this coin saying, oh, well, guess we didn't think about that. And, now that something real has hit, let's see what the energy is around that. It is, can't make this up. It is the Ace of Cups in reverse. And this is, holy shit, this is real. This is real now. And so while pondering, well, let's see, do we give some to the billion? Oh boy. And the thing is that they're limiting funds, and I've been saying this, like places like California, New York, maybe even Pennsylvania, to a certain degree, they're gonna take care of their own before they send money off to red states or to the federal government. They're gonna say, oh, we're supposed to take care of ourselves. So sorry, dude. We don't have any we don't have any extra to give you. So, leading up to this, with the before tarot, we have the Four of Wands in reverse. So this is the gathering to get under this thing, to get together, to meet, to get married. But it looks like here they are just kind of like caught with their pants down, and they really don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do, because they decided that planning for these things is, who needs it? Okay, so the after tarot, we have the Star, where she's just dunking herself in the water, cleaning off after doing all this alchemy with mixing the earthly and the spiritual, but it's in reverse. So it's saying, because this is also incompetent, and the Star is slipping. The Star is slipping. They didn't think, I mean, really, I really honestly shudder to think about hurricane season coming up soon. So beneath all of this, we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is, there's a message being sent to the other states now. You better, get your act together and cooperate, because the feds they might give lip service, but they're not prepared. So it's up to you. I think some of places like California with the fires and all that other earthquakes that are going to be coming, and knowing what he's like, I suspect they have been preparing since November 6th. So then we have, this is interesting. So this is, this, to me, this is the element of the fool's paradise that the regime is living in. It's like presenting that thing like, oh, everything is just wonderful, peachy keen, look at the rainbow. And it's a fault. It's that phony stuff. Okay, then we have, it's been coming up. This came up quite a few times in my previous reading, and this is a losing proposition. It's completely losing. When it's upright, there may be a doubt as to whether there is going to be a win in this, but this is a definite loss, and the people they're leaving. They are leaving. So in opposition of this, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I don't want to say, and maybe in a way this may be karma in a kind of weird way, and really the true meaning of karma is cause and effect. What you put out there will cause either the good or the bad to come back to either haunt you or reward you. So this is maybe as people are sitting on their rooftops and not getting the help that they need from the White House, that this is maybe sinking in, that this is sinking in of the harm that this vote has done. And this may sound cold, but it's reality. It truly is reality. So, on the conscious level, what's going on with all of this mess is interesting. Four of Wands again in reverse. This is the card of divorce. So, this is telling me that there are people, and it's probably not the hardcore Kool-Aid cult people, but maybe people that just out of anger just voted, just voted for him. And then now they know that, boy, was that a big mistake. And that they know they did it without a pure emotion and anger rather than thinking it and doing a little bit of homework. So on the subconscious level, we have the Knight of Cups. What's behind all of this is that they're looking for their knight in shining armor to come and rescue them. And that is what Taco Boy has been presenting. I have all the answers, da 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 da. And so they voted for that, not realizing, if you saw my previous video, that this is the Knight of Cups in reverse that sold them a bill of goods. But this is the subconscious fantasy that there's someone that's going to save them, but now they realize it's not going to be him. That's for sure. Then, okay, so in the past, we have, the Two of Swords in reverse. Okay, when she's upright, she's getting ready to grab those swords to weigh the possibilities. But since this is in reverse, she's putting on the blindfold, and she's not going to be able to find them. She just isn't. She's going to be grasping around and trying to reach them. So this is the total unpreparedness of this. And I go back to those innocent little girls whose parents were total schmucks, maybe, in the way that they voted. And it may be something they have to live with. And I know they were in a Christian camp. I'm just hoping it was just your generic Christian camp and not one of those but it's in the South. But that's neither here nor there. But, I hate to think that those parents might have voted for this. It may sound callous, but it could be a reality and something they're probably going to have to live with. I mean, I know they found a couple of the girls in a tree that got rescued, and I'm just hoping that there may be more of that. They found babies in earthquakes. I remember in Mexico in '85, they found babies buried underground for days that were still alive. So I'm really hoping that scenario plays out. Okay, so in the present we have the Queen of Wands. Well, that's Claudia Sheinbaum, the La Presidente de Mexico. Yep. That she may be the one that's really, she's just rolled up her sleeves and said, I'm not going to think about. See, now when you say, okay, don't make this political. This is the way that aspect should play out. It's like, okay, the guy's a total schmuck, but I am not going to take it out on his people. So she's the one that's, she's sending her people in there to help out. while the National Guard terrorizes people in LA. Okay, so she may be coming out as a real hero of this, and that's what this is what a real president does. Okay. So going just a little bit into the future, we have I understand, I mean, far be it from me to agree with anything that the felon has to say, but when he did say, his motivations are probably different, but when he did say that I'm going to stay out of the way of those helping, I mean, if Obama, and it's okay for Obama and Biden to do that, then you have to say any president that does that, although I feel as though his golf game may be more important, but this is about still that some of these leaders, until they need to give it a rest and work from a distance before he has a habit of going in there and messing things up. He did that in his first term, but I would say he and some of the others are kind of holding back and let these people do their job. So this is the immediate future, maybe in a couple of days. And then we have, going further into the future, is the after is the high priestess, who is upright. So I think she's done her spiritual stuff for the day. So this is pretty much about, I almost want to say, going back to the old civil rights days when you had, Martin Luther King's Baptist Church, and you had the synagogues, and you had the Presbyterians and the Catholics that all got together to help people out. So what this is telling me with the high priestess is that she's already set stuff in motion to help feed and, do whatever they can. So the more civically minded religious groups will be jumping in. They're probably already doing, but we're going to be seeing that. Something tells me that may not be the evangelicals, except they might do a little bit for show. That's what I think of them. So further out in the future, we have the in the after tarot, we have the Seven of Swords, and this is interesting. This is as a result, he's going to get caught in his own trap. I would have to say that I'm not taking this, because not all reversals are the opposite. Sometimes the energy is stronger, but in a negative way. I would say that they are really going to get caught up in all these lies, and they're stepping right into it, and it's only a matter of seconds before that thing traps him. So I do feel the same energy that I did with Bush for the Katrina disaster, and of course this is for entertainment purposes only. But there were very strong rumors that he had a drinking relapse. I think the family whisked him off to the treatment center to rehab right away, so we wouldn't notice. But what that tells me is that and Bush is a lot more stable than Trump, that this is really going to do, and this is also mental health. This is going to do a number on him that's going to be out of control. I feel as though I need to draw another one. Okay, so this is the Three of Pentacles, and the patrons. Is he one of the no? The artist has left. The artist has left. Oh, this says a lot. So this is, I think this is the regime of the whole idea of that stupid woman that heads it to, of the interior, I think. What a bimbo she is. But at any rate, we have the patrons here who would be negotiating with an artist, but the artist has they never brought the artist in. They never brought the artisan in. They never were prepared. So this is just empty stuff. Not even talking to anybody. This is really, really going to be hurting. The voters will not forget this, and I do think that they're going to try to not have an election, but I do think that we're going to have an election. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I might not have thought so, but as he goes more downhill and it's more noticeable, he's going to be too weak to do this. So I think that they're going to have to be very, very careful, and the local people this is now the time is to put some secure stuff in there to make sure there's no funny business. Hopefully they started it November 6th, because Ketamine Boy and Tatas they pretty much admitted there was some funny stuff going on. So I would say that this the after Three of Pentacles is saying there's like no one left to talk to. So this is going to be very, very harmful, because the voters didn't forget Katrina in the 2006 midterms. They're not going to forget it. And there's more to come. There's worse to come. I hate to say it, but there's worse to come. So, okay. So, in the hopes and the fears, we have worry. You know what I'm going to say as far as the powers that be? They really don't have much hope. This is all fears. This is insomnia. This is like they really dug themselves into one this time, and they never learn. He's stubborn because he said no need to hire these people back. So you wait and see what's going to happen during hurricane season. So I just don't see them having any hopes. So let's see what we can conclude and learn from all of this. Four of Pentacles. This is a message that we cannot hang on to the old stuff. This is good that this is in reverse. This is like, and it's still stubborn and it's very hard to let go. But what this is saying is that we cannot dig in deeper. There has to be accountability for this. I'm not saying we break the law, but I'm saying that maybe people have to step outside the box, like governors in blue states saying, if you're not going to give us any help, we help ourselves before we give you a dime. And this is what it's come down to. There do need to be consequences for all of this, and we have to let go of, and this is a message to the Democrats, we have to let go of that being nicey stuff. But seeing this in reverse is saying there are some cracks in the old established bit, and thank goodness for the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders and all of these people, because I mean, I think even the Chuck Schumers and Nancy Pelosi's are starting. I think it's starting to sink in with them too. So, what I want to do is this is pretty there are some hints in this reading that it is quite possible that Texas could be turning. Now, I don't think they're going to go all blue, but, it's pretty daunting to think that, Ann Richards was such a great governor, but she got defeated by George Bush in 1994 when they had the big wave of the Clinton midterms. It was just like, oh God, I even hate to think of it. But, you know, she lost her seat in Texas, and I still can't believe Mario Cuomo lost his seat in New York. I think he was going for maybe a third term or something. So I could not believe that. But they have not had a Democratic governor in Texas since the days of Anne, and she was wonderful. So that state really did turn. Now, I don't know how optimistic I am that they're going to get themselves a Democratic governor, but very soon. But they may go for someone a little bit more moderate in the Republican, maybe just someone slightly to the left of George Bush, who was the one that beat her back then. So, what is this going to do to the people of Texas? I would really like to find out, and that this is something I will look up. If those people in Uvalde, after all those kids got shot, if they are during the first Taco regime, if they were kind of like the Hispanic-y, conservative, I want to see if that little neck of the woods changed their tune for this election. I would hope that they would, but I just want to see. Okay, so what's a chance that I'm seeing it maybe starting with the legislature and maybe getting rid of Cancun Cruz. That would be a really good start. How many times does he have to bail on a during a crisis for these numbskulls to get it through their heads that he doesn't really have their best interests at heart? So I'm going to do I think I'm just going to do a 4-carder with a few extras if I need them. Okay, so where Texas is now, it seems, you know what I'm going to say, maybe not celebrating, but I would say that the women of Texas could be getting together because they're the ones that are bleeding out in emergency rooms for their draconian abortion laws. There are some very strong women in Texas that are liberal, that could be getting together and saying we need to celebrate ourselves and maybe put it in a positive light as to changing things in Texas. So I didn't see that, but that makes a lot of sense. So that's the energy of women power, and to make it positive, like instead of being against this, that, and the other, just saying how much better we can be if we maybe get another woman Democrat governor. So then we have the energy of this is the Eight of Wands. It's not all going to happen all at once. But this, to me, this is preparing. These instead of these arrows or darts, landing on the target yet, they're getting them very carefully lined up, and they're in a little bit of suspended animation till they let them go. So what this is telling me, and don't forget that there are mothers that with the compassion of children, and because these kids at camp, they were not the only kids. There's a whole bunch of other children. So that what they're saying is that they're getting prepared. They were getting prepared before this, but I think they're really going to be getting together. So I'll do a little bit in the past. Okay, so in the past, He knew he was planting the poisonous the bush bearing the poisonous fruit, and he went ahead and did it anyway. So this is a male energy. This is the male energy saying, we know this is bad, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. Then for the after tarot, let's see what the after tarot has to say about this. So what can we see coming up with this woman power? Oh, here we go. The Two of Cups, where in the regular card of this is that the lovers, the two people, were standing apart with their cups, kind of getting to know each other, and this is the embracing of people getting together. And perhaps this is the female energy of the more liberal woman embracing the, maybe making the guy who made some really bad voting choices, maybe being convincing and getting the men in on this too. So that's why that they do this in a celebratory and not an accusatory way, that this could work, and then we will be maybe meeting the coming together of these factions. So I don't know that I need to do that, but what this tells me is that they may be a little bit more malleable because of this crisis, and I hate to say it, but there are going to be other storms and in tornadoes and the hurricane season, and that river could easily spill over again. So maybe they're figuring on, like, let's get pressure the guys, the mayors and whatnot in that area to getting better weather forecasters and using them to give the warnings, because they're not going to get it from Taco Tatas. That's the whole thing. So this is kind of an optimistic sort of thing, and as I say, it won't happen at once, but and I think of the history of Texas. They had I should put this up. When I think of Texas, Lyndon Johnson comes to mind. Now, he was really bad, got a really bad deal with Vietnam, but he got the voting rights, he got the civil rights bill passed. I mean, he got the domestic stuff during his 6 years, I think. Yes, his 6 years after Kennedy was assassinated. He got some great, now they're trying to tear it apart, but he had some great domestic human rights bills passed into law, and he started out as a lowly, I think he started in the Texas legislature, and then he was in the House of Representatives, and then he was in the Senate, and Kennedy, the Kennedy people chose him because they needed to appeal to they needed to appeal to the Southern votes, but they needed to have a liberal. So he was made to order in that. And so I can't believe that a state that produced him and Ann Richards couldn't come up with and they do have some modern day versions. So it's like the Democrats need to get their game on, and I think they need to let the women do it. Younger women doing it, and maybe if they have older women that are kind of like female Bernie Sanders, Texas style, it's not hopeless. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's really a shame that it takes such a catastrophe like this to get it going. But I do really get a sense that this could start to turn things where Texas could become a swing state. It could happen. So at any rate, I feel like the those two spirits of those very prominent Texas of Lyndon and Anne, they're going to be in there maybe pushing that positive energy. So I do think it's awful that we're going to have to contend with worse, but like everything else with this catastrophe, it's a day at a time. So with that, I'm going to sign off for now. Bye.